Hello YouTube, welcome back to Happy Hour. If you don't like sherried whiskeys, don't watch this video. Hello YouTube, welcome back to Happy Hour. As you can tell by the intro, probably, we're gonna do a pretty heavily sherried whiskey today, as you can see on the table for the initiated who know this particular Scotch single malt, Edredauer 10, they know what I'm talking about. For all of you folks out there that haven't tried it, well, you're in for a treat. Well, you're not. I'm in for a treat because I'm the one drinking it. But if you like heavily sherried whiskeys, I think this might be the most heavily sherried whiskey that I've ever had. And there's quite a few that are up there. The GlenDronachs ring a bell. Some of the Glenallecys, I haven't had that many of them, but and many others. But this thing is out of this world. I don't know if you can see on camera. Probably, I got kind of dark lighting, but this is definitely the darkest Scotch whiskey that I've ever had. In fact, it kind of competes with some of the darker bourbons that I have. Like here's a bottle of what is this? True Blue cask strength 61% Texas bourbon. And I don't know if you can see the color, but the Edredauer is still darker. It is absolutely bonkers. Like I said, the the GlenDronachs, I could compare, I guess, the GlenDronachs for you. I'm only doing this because it really caught my attention when I saw it in the liquor store. I couldn't believe how dark it was. Like the GlenDronach 18 is pretty close, actually. Actually, that's pretty close. Yeah, the GlenDronach 18 is pretty darn close. And that's an 18-year-old whiskey. That's been sitting in sherried casks for 18 years old, or for 18 years. This Edredauer is a 10-year-old single malt. Put this stuff back. So yeah, this Edredauer is a 10-year-old Highland. It's called Scotland's Little Gem. It's kind of a cool little distillery from what I saw a few pictures on the internet. It's a pretty small operation. I think it's still in pretty limited quantities. Obviously, they're not spitting out bottles like GlenDronach or like Macallan or any of the big guys. It's a pretty small operation. They talk about 3 guys. I don't know if it's 3 main guys. I don't know if it's only 3 guys. Then it's pretty incredible. But yeah, it's a pretty small distillery. It's a 10-year-old. Again, it's Highland single malt Scotch, 10 years old, and just dark as hell. It's 43%, which is kind of good. It's not cask strength. Looking at that, you may think it's even stronger, but at 43%. So imagine how dark this was before they watered it down. 43%, but it does say on the back, natural color. Yeah, natural color. So I really would love to see. I have seen a couple of bottles around on the internet. I haven't seen one firsthand, or I would have bought it. Absolutely bought it, of the cask strength version. That would be pretty remarkable. But anyways, enough. Let's pour, see what we got. Yeah, like it looks like it's so freaking dark. Like this is a tiny little glass and you can see it's incredibly dark. Yeah, so I said sherried whiskeys. If you don't like sherried whiskeys, I would say run for the hills. This is certainly not going to be up your alley because I think as close to sherry as you can get in a single malt Scotch whiskey. There's a lot of sherry influence. It smells, again, if the preface of all this stuff is going to be that you like sherried whiskeys. It smells like sherry. This is the first. So I've been able to get notes of sherry on a lot of other whiskeys. This is the first time where I can literally smell sherry. I can smell single malt whiskey, but it almost smells like the first initial hit that I get is like someone maybe dropped a couple of drops of sherry on the top, which I like. It is musty. It is sweet. There is so much dark fruits going on underneath, like the figs and raisins and like stewed fruits. But ironically enough, and I think maybe because it's age, there's quite a bit of bright notes as well. Like I get kind of an orange peel and a little bit of citrus. So it's a really interesting combination. I think a lot of times with the really darker, maybe more aged or heavily sherried, it really kind of sits around those darker stewed fruits. But this is really incredibly well balanced. I get a sharp, citrusy orange, higher note, dare I say, and then that deep figgy raisin sherry note. Not a ton of that sherry funk, which is odd. Maybe it's the brighter orangey notes that are taking away some of the funk. I get, some of the dark sherry funkiness, and I don't know how to articulate that better than funk. Man, it's just it's really unique. I've never smelt anything like this. Let's taste it. God, that is good. Oh, that is so good. It is so rich. 43% is nice. It's pretty thick and viscous, but I think it could be better. I think if this was 46 or higher, I'd get a little more of kind of a thickness, but I get oak. I get kind of some of those bourbon notes. It's undeniably a single malt Scotch whiskey. But I do get some of the barrel notes, a little bit of bourbon-y notes. I get that orange peel and I get that dark sherry funkiness. It is really amazing. Again, you have to like sherried whiskeys. If you like, say, the GlenDronach 12 or Glenallechy's, or even like Famous Grouse I did a review on, it's pretty heavily sherried. Any really just kind of darker sherried whiskeys, scotches, you gotta give this a try. This is friggin' bonkers. For 10 years old, I would love, I know they have a few other whiskeys, and I think Balakin is their like offshoot, but I think it's like their peated version. I'm not super, I haven't done a ton of research on these guys, but I'm about to, because this is fantastic. But like, I could see like my dream sherried whiskey being like a cast strength version of this that's even a little bit older. I don't know if they have something that's 15 years old, or but like a cast strength 15-year-old version, or even an 18-year-old version of this. Oh my goodness gracious, I can't imagine what it would be, because this is incredible. Wow, I could drink this literally all day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My job probably wouldn't appreciate it very much, but I would be a very happy man. As you can probably tell, I'm a huge fan of sherried whiskeys. I like all types of whiskeys, but the sherried stuff, I think I have definitely a little bit of a special place in my heart. So, Edgeworth 10, winner, chicken dinner. 10 years old, 43%, no color added, chill filtered or not, I don't know. Doesn't matter to me, really. Now, the only kicker is it's not cheap. So around me, in Chicago, this is $70 at the big box stores. So $70, say, for a 10-year-old whiskey, that's probably a little bit steep, right? But I think it's so incredibly unique. And look, if it's this really small batch stuff that they say they are, well, I know they are. They're a very small distillery. They're not pumping out quantity. So this isn't trying to be, I think, a brand and upping the price because of brand recognition, like some of the other big M brands or other brands. I think there's truly a value there associated with just the limited and the scarcity, which I'm okay with. I think that's totally fair. $70 for me all day long, no problem. I am going to have to get a few more bottles of this, because I feel like I've seen it in the stores once in a blue moon, and then it goes away. And I luckily got a bottle when I just noticed it again a month or so ago, 3 weeks ago. So again, I feel like that comes back to maybe the small batchness of it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to try my best to have some of this on the shelf. I love the idea of giving somebody who's maybe had some sherry, but they're like, oh, I like the sweet stuff, like the darker whiskeys. Somebody doesn't really, maybe have a wide girth, to give them a sip of this, a dram of this, and just watch their face. That sounds like fun, but I think I might want to keep it all to myself. So this is going to be my secret stash. So $70 a bottle, no problem for me. I'm going to give this 9 out of 10. I can't do a 9.5. I don't know. This numbering stuff for me is ridiculous. I almost don't feel like doing it anymore, but because the last 3 bottles have been a 9.5 out of 10, or 2 bottles, whatever. But yeah, this is just, I keep picking the ones that I love, That's why everything is highly regarded, in my opinion, or high numbers, but we'll call it a 9.5 out of 10. Anyways, if you love sherry whiskeys and you haven't tried this, get a bottle. Go now, stop the video, just go to your liquor store and get a bottle. All right. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be cool too. I'm gonna drink some more of this puppy. Cheers. Thanks for watching.